Hi, I'm Sher from a Beautiful Marriage Relationship Education Center in Tigard, Oregon. I want to share with you a little bit about why people should do marriage education, because I think that a lot of people aren't familiar with marriage education as much as they are marriage counseling. And most couples, when I tell them about what education really entails, are pretty fascinated. One of the most important things for people who don't like airing their problems to a third party, and I would say that includes a lot of men who feel that a counselor isn't going to do anything for them. What can this person tell me that I can't do myself, etc. Often are very surprised to learn that people can actually become educated about how to become more skilled in marriage. And so for people who don't want to really get very intimate in terms of sharing their problems, you can still learn how to do things better. So that's one really good reason why people should do education. The other thing is it's much less expensive than private marriage counseling. So for people who don't have insurance for marriage counseling, it's a much less expensive way to go and can be much more effective in terms of you're actually getting double the time for much less money. It's certainly a positive alternative to divorce. In Oregon, a basic divorce costs a couple about $7,000. We have 37 different workshops for couples, and if they took everything that we had, it would be way less expensive than the $7,000. So I think that learning how to save your marriage is much more important than going and hiring lawyers to break it apart. The other thing is that it's a skill-building vehicle for people who have never really been trained in how to be married, which I think includes most of us. I went through an entire master's degree in counseling and didn't learn about all the skills that I needed to be married. And this isn't common knowledge, I would say. This is something that's still kind of a hidden secret in some ways. And I think that we'd like to make it far less of a secret and much more common experience for people to get trained for marriage. After all, we spend, lots of time learning to memorize a manual to drive a car, and we even have a manual to drive a car. And the point is that the most important relationship that we ever do, we don't even have any training for before we go ahead and make a promise for life. Most men also find that education is something that they can really get a hold of and that they'll participate in at work and also just going back for degrees, etc. And they don't have a bad feeling about it like sometimes they do about counseling. So I think that many people who train for their work, train for skills for a profession, are much more familiar with an educative process. And that's what this is. It's a comfortable educative process. It's not a group. It's nobody airing their dirty laundry. It's actually just learning skills. One of the programs that we use in our classes and the information from it has done some research about how marriage education affects people. And there are actually 50% fewer divorces with people who become educated for marriage rather than people who don't. And the other thing is that most people need to learn parenting skills, or at least get on the same page as their spouse. And we have 4 workshops that build parenting skills taught by people who've both parented children, and one of our instructors is a 4th and 6th grade teacher. And she is a really excellent person when it comes to teaching how to discipline kids appropriately. I'm Sher, and this is a Beautiful Marriage Relationship Education Center where we believe that people need to learn how to love intelligently.